Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 16 of A Wild Podcast Has Appeared, the official Pokemon podcast of Comicbook.com. I am one of your hosts, Jim Viscardi, and as always, I am joined by Megan Peters and Christian Hoffer. Welcome back, guys.
Hello.
Another week, more Pokemon news to be had.
I mean,
Yep.
always
That's why we do
Pokemon
this.
news.
Never-ending stream.
If you are new to A Wild Podcast Has Appeared, this show happens every Thursday, wherever podcasts can be found, and we go over a lot of things. Basically, if there is a Pokemon thing, Pokemon game, Pokemon cards, Pokemon toys, any and all of that stuff, we cover here on this show. We break the show up into two parts. There is a quick news flash type segment in the first half, and then in the second half we do a deeper dive, and then at the very, very end, fan favorite segment of the podcast, Christian gives us a Pokemon fact of the week, and they are always great. A lot of stuff to get through today, a lot of Pokemon Go stuff. It's actually a nice, diverse, mixed week, I would say, as far as news goes. Pokemon collection got sold for a whole lot of money, so we will dive right into that as soon as we get back. Okay, so first off, we like to talk a lot about Pokemon gear, merchandise, etc. And it is kind of insane the amount of money that Pokemon made just selling stuff. Christian,
Yep.
how much money did they make?
$2.9 billion.
Billion. That's billion with a B
Yes.
Yep.
of Pokemon
So
stuff.
that's more money than Avengers Endgame made in theaters. It makes it the 23rd biggest brand in the world.
So, like, who
which
sits
is-
around it? Do you know?
I'm trying to think of who's like. I mean, it beat out stuff like Ferrari, Ralph Lauren, some really well-known names.
It beat out the NFL.
It beat out the NFL?
I mean, not surprising.
That's not surprising. The
There's
NFL
only-
is really just a state.
I mean,
side.
jersey sales. I mean,
That's true.
Yeah,
there's a
well,
there's a lot of
But
people.
There's only 32 NFL teams. There's over 800 Pokemon.
Yeah, but according to that list we've talked about in a previous podcast, there's like 5 Pokemon that no one cares about.
That's
Apparently.
true.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
also,
Okay, so
but I mean, the NFL is very much a states-driven thing. While it's a gigantic enterprise, Pokemon's got it beat on the global front.
I do just have to say this. Like I think it's number 12 on the list of global brands. Sanrio came in.
Really?
Sanrio destroyed Pokemon. It came out with like $4 billion.
Oh, so the
retail.
gap between
The gap between Sanrio, like Hello Kitty for anyone who's not aware. And I was like, I mean, that used to be like a huge thing in the States, but like it's kind of faded out a little bit. And I'm like, man,
It's still big everywhere else.
everywhere
Yeah.
else apparently they are making that money. Sorry, I just had to
Well,
say because
I
I
would
was
also
shocked.
say too. I think it's funny talking about the $500 Mareep last week, which if you're new to the show, you definitely don't want to miss out on that conversation. Go find that last week's episode in the feed. It was a very good one. But I would say the Pokemon franchise as a whole has a really nice array of priced stuff. Sanrio, on the other hand, I always feel like is crazy overpriced.
Really?
Definitely in America.
Outside of like pencils.
Definitely in America overpriced. Like when I've been in Japan or like Korea and stuff, like it's pretty easy to price. I think it's just like licensing deals. I would say though, Sanrio's pretty focused, like it's cute stuff, clothes, whatever. Pokemon, there's a million merchandising options in terms of clothes, toys, yada yada. But I mean also retail sales for the video games, the anime DVDs and collections, for the movie sales like that they get, like
Yep.
they have a wide diversity of things that they produce. And I'm curious, like, how like microtransactions might fit into those retail sales, if at all. So, because I
don't-
know it's specifically retail that the list is covering,
This
but
does not include your stuff like the digital video game sales. Anything that's Pokemon Go related or any of the Pokemon mobile games doesn't count. Any online, there are certain things that the Pokemon Company doesn't get covered because this has come up before, like why for instance, like why is Pokemon a bigger brand than Marvel or DC? And it's because this specific thing only takes into account retail sales. So even stuff like box office, like
Okay.
Pokemon box office, doesn't get included in.
Yeah.
This is only one piece of the pie, but the Pokemon's bread and butter really is retail. That's their big seller. I mean, the video games at this point exist
To sell more toys.
it's kind of like comic books, like the comic books just serve as an idea incubator to help sell other things, the movies and whatnot. The video games at this point exist to introduce new Pokemon so they can make a crap ton of merchandise about them.
Yeah. It was like superhero cartoons in the 90s. They were purely toy, commercials.
Yeah.
But
I mean, to no surprise, the number one thing on the list was the Walt Disney Company. I mean, I don't think anyone's shocked by that.
no.
Not at all. So,
If you have the original Pokemon trading card set from way back when, and you've got them buried, stashed away somewhere, hopefully in relatively good condition, and all first editions, you could make some bank. I was actually surprised that the original first edition set of the first set sold for over $100,000, about $100,000 or over $100,000,
$100,000, $107,010.
which is insane. Were all of them graded?
They were all grade mint 10.
Mint 10.
Mint 10.
Yeah,
they were all the holographics, first edition, 1999 set.
So it was just the holographic set?
All the pictures that I've seen, all of the holographics that you could have were holographics. Not all of them were.
But I think it also included the other.
It was a complete set. Remember that in the original, in these older sets, it included both holographic and non-holographic versions as separate cards.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, when you buy Pokemon cards, they list the same number, whether you're getting the holographic or the non-holographic. These older ones, you could get, like Alakazam, I think, was number 1, and also a non-holographic version of it was like in the 30s.
Yeah.
So this was the full set. It contained all the holographic rares and the non-holographic rares, and they all were graded. I think like the lowest was like a 9.6, which is really
like they were all basically mint 10 in the card case, ready to go.
How long do you think it takes to like build a collection like that?
Time, money, effort.
Right. Well, I know, but like, how long do you think that takes? Is that like?
I mean, I'd like to hope that whoever sold, because it was done through Golden Auction.
Right.
So, like, I'm wondering if whoever put that through the auctioneer, I'm just really hoping it was like a mom who had like 3 kids. She just had to keep buying Pokemon card sets like back in the 90s, and she accumulated all of them and was going through them one day and was like, okay, let's price them. And then she was like, okay, cool. That's what I mean.
But it takes a certain special kind of person to get them all graded, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. For you to, that was what impressed me when I was like, they're all graded. But that's what got them the price that they sold for. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen certain first editions, and the other key to this is that they were first editions.
Yeah.
Was it a shadowless Charizard?
You can get a holographic Charizard card for about $500. That's in.
Yes.
Like, somewhere between an 8 and 8 and a 9. You can get a pretty good condition, that core Charizard. So the first editions are harder to come by. I mean, because they only made one printing of them. So that was probably what took more time than actually like collecting the card. It was like hunting down all those first edition cards, and I'm sure this took several years to compile.
Yeah.
Because every time I've seen graded cards, I was just at Gen Con and they had a selection of a few of them, and most of those first edition cards usually cost a few $100s, but I hadn't seen any that were like rated in the 9.6, 9.7 range. All the ones that I saw were in those mid 8s to low 9. So that had it back.
So while it's nothing to retire on.
Nothing to retire on.
Still quite a bit of money.
Something to vacation on.
Yes.
Like a nice, solid vacation.
Yep. All right. Moving along. So, I made a joke about this because I could not understand the notion of downloading a game or like reserving a game that you could not download.
I did.
Clearly, I am an outlier.
Specifically to throw back in your face, Jim.
Clearly, I am an outlier because 5 million people, or at least the game has been pre-registered on 5 million devices.
Yep, this game's going to be big. Pokemon
That's
Masters.
insane.
Talking about.
Yeah.
This is going to be the next big Pokemon game. Keep in mind, there are that many pre-registrations. That's almost half as many as what a typical Pokemon game sells on console. Like Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Those pairs sold, I think, like between 10 and 12 million. So we're already at 5 million pre-registrations. That's with the very limited marketing campaign that's been going on. Just
Like a
wait for that
non-existent marketing campaign.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a bit of a marketing campaign.
I mean, for the hardcore fans.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
For us, because we're hardcore fans.
So that's the crazy thing, right? Like it's 5 million. It's on 5 million devices, which like those are the diehard fans. I can't imagine a casual person coming across this being like, "Oh no, I definitely need to," or like. What? I think there's also too, like we've talked about the nostalgia value here that I think with being able to get all the older gym leaders and things like that. But if that's just where it's at now,
yeah,
like when the game really comes out, holy moly, that's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah, like I was trying to explain it to a friend of mine who's like super casual. She's never heard of this game. I was like, Pokemon Masters. She was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you're like a big Pokemon fan. She's like, I have literally no idea what you're talking about. And so I explained it to her and she was like, oh, she never heard about it. She just isn't into that kind of online vacuum where it's mostly been promoted. There's not like TV commercials or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
And it's not really being heavily promoted on the App Store. And so as soon as that happened, she went ahead and pre-downloaded it. But I know a lot of my friends who are in that similar vacuum. I mean, it's looking good for Pokemon Masters.
I guess
I was about to say it only gets about one tweet a week right now on the Pokemon social media accounts, so it's still pretty early on. It comes out here in like 2 weeks. Think about that. We're gonna have a crap ton of Pokemon Masters coverage here. Just a few days. So
the question I'm always curious about is what is this initial like how much money is it going to make? Will it be sustainable?
Do we think this is going to have the same fervor as Pokemon Go when it first came out?
No.
Will it be a different?
Nothing's ever going to have the same fervor as Pokemon Go.
We hoped Harry Potter would, but
I did.
I knew that wasn't going to do. Harry Potter is, if that game would have come out like a decade ago, maybe, but so much goodwill has been burnt on the Harry Potter franchise. Like, there are not a lot of like hardcore Harry Potter people who are like, oh yes, I must go and capture Harry Potter in the real world. That's not the thing that exists. But Pokemon Masters, it's going to be in that like I think it's going to exist in that kind of like bubble where it's not going to be quite as popular as stuff like Clash of Clans and stuff like that. But it's I keep comparing it. It's going to be the next Fire Emblem Heroes. That's a really popular game in Japan. Has a really solid following over here. Makes Nintendo so much money. So much money. It's insane how much money. And like all that game does is it releases there's a Fire Emblem character called Cynthia, and she's basically this like slightly sadistic, voluptuous purple-haired girl who runs around in an axe, and like there's so many alt costumes of her with like oh, here's like Memorial Day Cynthia, and here's Christmas Cynthia. They're going to do the exact same thing here with Pokemon Masters. We're going to get so many Misty alts, and people are just going to eat it up. Eat it up. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of projection, and like I know obviously when this game comes out, there's going to be an obvious boost of people willing to spend money on it. But I'm curious what the longevity will look like.
Yeah.
And the early data mines, because this game's come out on early access in Canada and Singapore, I think. And the data mines actually indicate that there's not too many of those like 5-star characters. So if this game's kind of divided up, you can get like 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star trainer sync pairs, which is the combo of a trainer and a Pokemon. And there's not too many sync pairs that have the full 5 stars, which will be the ones that people are chasing after. So I'm pretty curious about that. That's probably not a complete list. So I'm pretty interested to see. And there's also like apparently a ton of story chapters to this. Like I saw something like 18 story chapters or something, which is insane.
I will be a bigger fan of the story chapters, I'm sure. But also, I'm like, I'm saving up for some stuff, and I can't. I have my monthly budget I spent on Pokemon Go, and I'm not sure I'm willing to like divvy. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm willing to like divvy that up into Masters yet. I'll have to test it out on the free to play basis, and then kind of figure out what I want, because I know the returns I can get for Pogo if I try hard enough.
Speaking of Pogo, we've got some news, and oh god, it's the name I can't say that I always feel self-conscious about.
Live your best life. Don't let anyone in this room judge you. This is a safe space.
No,
see, that's not a judging face I made. I say Suicune.
Suicune?
Suicune.
Suicune?
I don't know. It's the Pokemon with the big ass crystal on its forehead.
It's the one who likes to walk on water and purify things.
Suicune, or I say Sisuine, which is wrong, but whatever.
Yeah, that's
Live your best life.
Huh?
Yeah. But anyways, that Pokemon
Raid Day.
Getting Raid Day this Saturday. It's so for 3 hours, Suicune, Queen, however you call it, will be at every single gym. You have a chance of catching a shiny version of that if you beat it.
Best Pokemon to use, Christian?
It's a pure water type, so electric or grass. Grass if it's sunny and it doesn't have a ice type prepared. Otherwise, just use electric. It's not a very hard Pokemon to beat. Frankly, it's not that great of a Pokemon in Pokemon Go. It's not a very good legendary in any version of the game.
It's like the Jobber legendary.
It's a pretty disappointing legendary Pokemon.
As somebody who avidly played Pokemon Crystal, I am very upset.
It's the truth. It's the truth. I wish it wasn't true. I personally love this Pokemon, even though I can't pronounce its name. But it's not very good.
Really, it's not. But it's not my favorite out of the. I don't even say it's even hits like a top 5, maybe even a top 10 for me.
It's definitely a top 10 for me. My problem is I feel like I differ very much in my categories, like how I categorize Pokemon here, because I mainly do it on how they look and if they're cute. Because that's fundamentally how I treated Pokemon. Like me doing like those beauty contests in like Pokemon Ruby thrived on that. That's why for me, like growing up, Skitty, loved Skitty. Great in those contests. So like I love Suicune. I like all the cute Pokemon, I guess.
Fair enough.
Like I have like a different list of like actual like good Pokemon to battle with, but I don't really care about that.
Jirachi is also apparently may pop up during
so excited.
this weekend.
Maybe not. We don't quite know when it's going to pop up. So as part of the global challenges that they've been doing all summer, kind of buried in that big announcement was that there would be an ultra bonus if we beat all 3 global challenges, which of course we did. There was never a chance of that not happening. So they said that a ultra bonus announcement would be happening soon. They actually announced that today, Wednesday. And then so people were like, "Oh, what could it be? What could it be?" And then Pokemon Go, said, "Well, maybe if you wish upon a star, it might come true." And like, "Oh, okay, it's Jirachi."
Yeah, 900%. Or they're putting Jiminy Cricket in the game.
Yeah. For those of you who
they're
don't
real
know,
good with subtlety.
Yeah,
is known as the Wish Pokemon. It basically resembles a shooting star. Got a little star head. It's got little wish tags, which is a Japanese tradition.
It's pretty cute.
Yeah, it's adorable. Definitely a top 10 for me.
Also, bonus poke fact of the week: it has a creepy third eyeball in its stomach.
I know.
In its stomach?
Yeah. It has like a third.
It's an eyeball.
Oh, cute pudgy. It's got a cute little pudgy belly button because it's got this like big semicircle line on it.
Yeah.
No, actually, that's its third eye, and when it
Yep.
opens, you die.
Yep.
It does the
Wow.
Destiny Bond thing,
Yeah.
which it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I love Jirachi. As soon as I saw that it was happening, as soon as I saw the wish, I was like, it is my time. I love that. First of all, I love the Pokemon movie that's all about Jirachi. Like, tears everywhere. And that's where I learned about its third eye. And I was traumatized for
I
life.
had no idea.
But yeah, no, Jirachi. Oh, I'm so excited. I was like, yes, it's time. It's time for me to get a Jirachi.
All right, before we go into our deep dive, we got two more things to talk about. I want to talk about Pokemon Worlds first. With as always with Worlds, we usually get some announcements. Christian, you seem to think we may get either a trading card game announcement or a new Pokemon announcement, or
We've always gotten a new Pokemon card announcement at these things. Last year was tag teams. The year
right?
before, the year before that was the Ultra Beasts, which they had different type of mechanic to it that involved prizes. The year before that was actual DX cards, I think, maybe. I can't remember. It's all a blur. But so we typically get these sort of big Pokemon card announcements. So whatever the Dynamax equivalent will be, that's what we typically get. But since this is a Pokemon, this is a new Pokemon game year, we'll likely get something. Maybe a little mini trailer, maybe a new Pokemon reveal. They'll give us something, I think. I hope.
I would love for them to adopt the Transformers trading card game pack style. If they were
The
going to do
oversized card.
like with like a not like an oversized card because like that you normally get with the trainer packs and stuff like that, but one that's just a little bit bigger in those packs for Dynamax stuff, but not necessarily put a Dynamax card in every pack, but package them all that way in case you do.
Yeah. They're just going to release like
Thing ever.
What? No. It's
honestly the cheaper option.
Maybe oh no, it's just a piece of like cardboard.
Yeah.
They
it's-
fake me out. That would just be mean.
It's either that or they'll just like put like little paper bands in each set and they'll be like, put this on the Pokemon card and it Dynamaxes it. Just like the ultimate
What I
move.
imagine they would probably do is do what they did that one time that they sort of had like the two cards put together. You had to basically find two halves of a card and you get a Dynamax version of it. But
I could see that being what they do. Or I could just see it being like, it's a Pokemon DX card.
right.
That's more likely than not what we'll get is, some form of
I like to dream big, Christian.
I know you do, but
Dynamax style.
I can't
It's
even.
really hard for me to
Yeah.
say that with a straight face.
Yep, Christian's done.
I'm out.
He's
Goodbye.
done. Yep, that's it. That's the face of a man who's done.
I wonder if though too, like if there's a Pokemon that they haven't necessarily released yet for Sword and Shield, that will be not the mascot, but probably be on like the packaging art or whatnot for this next wave of cards, and have that release kind of be simultaneous as well.
They haven't
Here
done
comes
that
Christian
in
coming
years
to rain on
past.
my parade with my big ideas.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Listen, I follow Pokemon company trends. They haven't done that before. They have accidentally leaked new Pokemon.
Yeah.
While in like Pokemon card packaging, but it's never been a deliberate thing. Things could always change.
Yeah.
But I doubt it.
Yeah. Well, all right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jim. They just clearly need a
I drew my card.
more innovative marketing mind like yourself. To start running things.
It's all right. I'm here. Pokemon Company, call me. Before we jump to our break, last thing on the Sword and Shield topic, Gene Simmons has chimed in
He has.
on his Pokemon, his soul Pokemon.
Yes. Yeah.
What did he say, Christian?
So he gave kind of like mixed messages about this.
Yeah.
So he released his first comment on it was on Twitter when everyone was like, "Oh my God, Gene Simmons is a Pokemon now," and he just quote tweeted like one of the tweets about it and was just like, "Well, like this happened." He didn't seem too enthused about it, but then he released like a more official statement about it to Newsweek, where he was like, "Oh, the Pokemon franchise has been a part of my family since my kids, discovered Pokemon, and so I'm very humbled that the Pokemon company decided to make a Pokemon using his likeness." Yeah, so
For those who missed it,
Yeah.
last week when they released a whole bunch of new Pokemon, there was a Galarian form of Zigzagoon,
yeah,
who
and it's
fully
became
evolves
To Obstagoon, right?
to Obstagoon, which is a new evolution for Linoon, and it literally looks just like
it's Gene Simmons with a snout.
It's just so funny
Yeah.
because Gene Simmons is a guy who has made so much money on his likeness and his persona. He is probably looking at this going, "Son of a, they found a way around it."
Yeah, like
All they had to do was go and turn me into a badger.
yeah, I'm so curious. Like,
Oh,
because there's no way the Pokemon company is ever gonna be like, oh yeah, we totally did that, because then they're gonna have to like, I'm sure there's some sort of like repercussions there with his image, but I'm like, yeah, I know that for sure that's why his first response was like, well, and then he probably was like talking to some of his people. It's like, can they do
they're
this?
like, "There's nothing you can do, Gene. You better embrace it."
Yeah, they're probably like, can we do this? Okay, is that allowed? Do they have to pay me money for this? And then they were like, nah, you just have to accept it. You are a badger
Yeah.
now. And then he was like, well, I might as well roll with it, make people like me. So, yeah, perfect response.
All right, when we
Yeah.
get back, we are going to talk more about Galarian region evolutions and beyond. So stay tuned. We'll get right into that. Okay, so Galarian forms is a thing that since the last game, Sun and Moon, with the new Alolan evolutions, is a very cool way to localize and change up old favorites.
Yes.
Yeah.
For Sun and Moon, they were all entirely Gen 1 Pokemon that got glow ups, as you would say. Vulpix got a cool one. Went from a fire type to an ice type. Sandshrew got a pretty cool one. Executor got a cool one.
I think we're forgetting Diglett.
Yeah, right. Diglett.
Raikou got one. Or
That's
Raichu.
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 My boy Geodude and all of his evolutions got them. All right, roll your eyes, Christian. But anyway,
There was no eye rolls.
There was an eye roll. It's on film, Christian. We can see it. Anyway, it's a super cool concept being brought into Sword and Shield. We got our first glimpses last week, obviously, with Weezing and Zigzagoon. There are a few more that have been in the leaked rumors that I think are also very, very cool. One being Farfetch'd, and the other one being Meowth, who make total
So
sense.
Farfetch'd is rumored to get a evolved form
Yep.
called Surfetch'd, which instead of carrying around his leek, he's going to carry around a sword and be like basically. Although I'm kind of curious if this rumor is actually accurate, because we got Corviknight. Because when you think of we're going to get some sort of armored bird, we got that with Corviknight. But
True.
the rumor says that we're going to get Surfetch'd, which will be Farfetch'd wearing armor. So that's a thing, and Meowth is the other one, that we're going to get another regional variant of Meowth, which makes me curious if we're just going to start getting regional variants of Meowth in every game moving forward, if that's just going to be a thing.
Please give me long-haired Meowth. like one of those like Maine Coon cats, like with the huge hair. Give me that. Like, I don't want to be able to see his body, just his eyes, because of the fur.
Well, so now, naturally, people are wondering, like, well, what else is going to get one? And I think, what we learned last week is that Sword and Shield is not just going to focus on the Johto region and
Yes.
Gen 1
Kanto.
Pokemon.
Kanto region.
Kanto. Johto's too. I know. which begs the question, and Christian sort of put this in the show notes, are like, what Pokemon would we want to see? And I did a lot of research.
You did way more research than what I expected.
Well,
so
here we
why
go.
don't you start? Give us your list, Jim.
Okay, so
And
for me,
I'll
the
try
first,
to
so
bring commentary.
just even going beyond Gen 1, because if you guys have Gen 1 picks, I'll let you guys throw them out there. But for me, I mean, obviously I'd love to see a Geodude, but whatever, that's me and I have a problem. But also...
At least you admit it.
But also, I think Ghastly and its evolutions could probably would get a cool one. Will they? Probably not. But, I mean, Mareep is a easy... That's a slam dunk one to get.
But we have Wooloo. I don't think they're going to introduce multiple sheep types.
I know.
You know, we got our sheep. Accept it. We don't need multiple types of haggis running around in this game.
Wow.
I'm sure there could be different breeds, and I want to see like all of them like just running together in a field. Could be fun. This one's a bit more of an urban take for my pick. Loudred. I think just given the there's a lot of nightclubs in the UK, and it's a scene. Okay, whatever. I think it's totally like Britpop and all that stuff. I think Loudred is a cool one. Also, it would kind of make sense just sort of given, I think, the prominence that he got in Detective Pikachu, and I think that's an easy one to do.
Yeah, no, that I actually like that one. Your reasoning is off,
Whatever.
but you know, I do like, you know, Loudred getting a British variant. I think there's like maybe with bagpipes or something.
Yep.
Yes.
My other one was Spiel.
Oh.
Just given his, I told Christian before we started recording it. To me, it's very Winston Churchill-like. I feel, and given his
mustache,
and the bushy mustache and all that, I think could be like literally all you have to do is put a top hat on him, and it would be perfect.
Just like all the Galarian forms are just bowlers and top hats. It's like button tops.
Oh boy.
You know, Bidoof, I think is one that I just looks kind of, like something that you would find in the British region. I would say, I think it's too close to Zigzagoon in that, be it just sort of its type and things like that. So we probably wouldn't see it, but could end up being a cool one. Budew, or Budew.
Yeah,
the flower,
Yes.
Rosalia,
the one who inevitably
Yeah.
turns into Rosalia. Yeah,
Budew.
I think that is. I mean, just with roses alone, that would be a missed opportunity. I feel if that one is not there. Plus, I put on there. On the flip side, you could also do Petlil, but again, like I said, they're just very flowery types. And when I think of Britain, I think of the rose coat of arms and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Lillipup, naturally.
Yeah, that's
basically a
an
Yorkie.
easy one.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And Litwick, given the more industrial feel that it looks like the Galarian region's going to have, I think would be a cool one. Just gas lamps and all that. So
Yes.
So those are my picks.
They're not bad.
Yeah,
See. Go ahead,
go
Christian.
ahead, Megan.
I was about to say, when I was making my list and research, I didn't look at like specific Pokemon. So when I was in college, I studied abroad in Britain, so I lived there for a fair bit of time, and I was just like trying to think like, what were all my experiences? And like, none of them were about flowers. I wish they were, but I was just trying to like think, and I was like, what are some things that I feel like they would want to base Pokemon off? And I decided my favorite is going to be like Ursaring or something. I want to have a Paddington Barrington. Because Paddington Station, there's a hotel there, and I would stay there all the time, and I would always go to the Paddington store. And I came home with like 12 Paddington bears. Like they're everywhere. And so I want like a Paddington variant of like a cute little like pre-evolution Paddington, but then evolves into angry Paddington. I want that so much. I also want like a series of bugs that like evolve into like the different beetles with like different like names that like go off of it. And then the other one that I wanted was like Sherlock deerstalker hats. So I wanted like the deer, like a deer to be like Sherlock, like a deer with a mustache and a deerstalker hat between its antlers. Like all of the things I was thinking, I was like, okay, a rock Pokemon. It could be, yes, the rock formation in Wales that I forgot that I went to go see, and I can't remember it now. Oh, what's it called? Oh, it's really famous. Is there in the circle, and they don't know how they got there.
Oh, Stonehenge?
There we go, Stonehenge. Man,
But you already kind of have the Stonehenge.
I know, but like a variant, like an actual one that's you can like collect enough of them and then combine them together into something that's like almost like Stonehenge. That's what I was thinking of. Like, what are like things that they're definitely gonna do? Because they're gonna have like fish and chips or something. It's gonna make me sad.
A freaking British Magikarp.
Oh my gosh, please.
Like immediately in my head, I go, "Oh my god!" Like all you literally have to do is just put hats on all of them, and it just feels like
a monocle.
yeah, hats or monocles.
It's like I just see Junichi Masuda just going and tossing bowler hats out, like crowds of Pokemon, and that's just all they're going to be.
There's either that or they're just going to be in soccer jerseys. Just there's no in between. We
haven't even picked like a soccer one.
Yeah, there's 900% going to be a soccer ball or like soccer playing one, no doubt.
Or like a British version of Hitmonlee.
Like a Hitmonlee.
Yes.
Soccer balls. Some of the ones that I was thinking of was Lapras, because we've got the Loch Ness Monster. I mean, I'm pretty much on of saying I want a Loch Ness Monster Pokemon. And originally I was like, give us a new one. But if we're doing Galarian forms, you already got it there. So just give us one with a skinnier neck, a little bit more mysterious, I guess. Maybe like a ghost type or a fossil, a fossil version of it.
That would be awesome.
Oh, a fossil version would be...
Oh my...
That's a great idea.
Okay, Pokemon Company, hit us up. We're giving you A+ ideas.
Palisand, even though that's a pretty new Pokemon, I was thinking like, okay, England's known for the castles and the churches and stuff, and we only have one Pokemon that really qualifies, and that's Palisand. I
was thinking too, Shieldon and his evolution.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Could also be a good one.
My only concern about that is that they'll want to keep the shield stuff focused on Zamazenta. That's my only worry there. But then again, if we're having a Farfetch that's running around with a sword, who knows?
It's my favorite thing. Just like imagine if you were in this world and this rumor proves to be correct and that happens. You're just a kid running around. You hear a bush rustle. A bird walks out with a knife. It just reminds me of that meme of that mom being like, "What do you have?" The kid's like, "A knife," and she's like, "No." Like,
I think the thing that has truly stumped me in thinking about just something that we're going to get is I honestly don't know where they will go for Eevee.
Leaf, we already talked about it. Tea leaf,
but like. Like those are the ones that obviously the ones that are left. But I don't necessarily know if they feel like they fit for Sword and Shield, and if they're looking to, and maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe they just don't need to fit. They just need to fill out the ones that are left.
I will just say a ghost version. I would really like a ghost version because Britain does have a bunch of history with ghosts and stuff like that.
Get creepy Eevee because we never get a normal Eevee, we never get like a normal ghost type Pokemon. It's never like a pleasant, like, oh, Eevee, discovered how to phase through walls or something like that. It's like, no, this Eevee evolution is actually what happens when an Eevee gets violently murdered by a 19th century serial killer.
Did you ever take British history? That's what they would have done.
Yeah, I disagree with you. But Eevee's actually Jack the Ripper.
Oh, nope. There we go. We're going to get ghost type Eevee. That is my thing if I can't have tea leaf Eevee.
As hell. It's going to be awful.
I want it. Hoffer, I want it, so.
So wait, what is left? What haven't we gotten for Eevee types?
Let's hear. We haven't gotten a bug type, we haven't gotten a steel type, no rock, no ground. I'm trying to think. Jeez. Let me pull up the list.
There's like a solid amount.
We haven't gotten fighting.
Yeah, there's 18 types.
Ghost. Umbreon might try to look like one sometimes, but no, Umbreon is not.
Type, no flying type, no poison type, ground, rock, bug, ghost, steel, dragon. And
Dragon would be cool.
Yeah.
I could see like a dragon and ghost happening, but those are two really
that would
like,
be, like,
intense, intense ones. I feel like they'd have to do like one of them and like
OP
bug.
Eevee, a dragon type.
They'd have to introduce like bug Eevee, which honestly I really don't want that. How is that? I don't want to even think about how that's going to happen.
It's going to have like the big like beady, compound eye.
Hoffer, stop. Hoffer,
You know,
please. Oh,
Like
but I want ghost.
like a chitinous shell. Probably like first.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, see, you want a ghost type Eevee, despite the fact that, it's probably like actually like the spirit of dead Eevees murdered by people or like,
But it'll at least look cool.
like
And one of the Sword and Shield games will have a nice Pokedex entry for it.
Yeah, right.
Get the one with
Just get the safe version.
Yeah, get the one with the nice description.
There's never. Have you learned nothing from the Pokefacts of the week?
I've learned there's always one good one and one bad one.
That's real quick before we go to the Pokemon fact, any other Gen 1 Pokemon that you may want to see? Like the only other ones that I wanted to potentially see was Abra, and its evolution I think could be a pretty cool one.
That could be a good ghost. That would be a good ghost version.
Yeah. And then Oddish, which I think to me feels like a
Oh yeah, that would make a lot
bit
of
of an
sense.
easy
Like
one,
I
too.
could see like Oddish being like a like toss in a fairy type and then make it some sort of like food for like British Bake Off. Yeah, I could see it going that. Make it a grass fairy type. That'd be cute. And not at all creepy like this phantom ghost type Eevee. God, I can't believe you, Megan. I'm genuinely shocked that you would want to expose precious Eevee to the horrible things that happen to ghost type Pokemon.
Literally no Pokemon is safe, so
It took
go ahead.
16 episodes, but we finally found a way to break Christian. So there.
There we go. We broke him.
All right, Christian, let's go to the fact of the week.
Okay. So this one is a more recent Pokemon, but it's one of those Pokemon that, of course, is based off of real life. Muko. That is the Pokemon. Kind of looks like a floating turd with spikes. And the big thing is it attacks you with its internal organs. And what real life creature is this based off of?
I know I learned this once upon a time. I feel like it's a lizard or like a reptile or something. I might be totally wrong. Yep, I'm wrong.
Nope, I got no idea.
You're totally wrong. Sea cucumbers. It's the Pokemon equivalent to a sea cucumber. Sea cucumbers, of course, are known for their very innovative defense mechanism, which it literally pukes its guts out.
Oh.
It pukes its guts out to escape from danger. It when it's attacked, suddenly it just expels all of its internal organs and slithers away.
Does it grow new ones?
Does it die?
Oh, no, it just grows new ones.
Oh,
It just pops out like this, a sack of internal organs and kind of floats away. And
Says, "Here,
that's what
feast on this. I'm out of here."
and that's what Pyukamuko's like fist attack, because when it gets mad, this like big white thing pops out of its. It kind of looks like a mouth, could be a butthole, one of the two.
No
I
joke.
did not realize this until,
Okay, so joke that Pikachu is in the kids game that my kid has on her iPad, and I forget what the hell it's called. It's like Pokemon Playground or something. And she hatched it the other day because as you play games, the eggs crack and whatever. And she goes, "Daddy, what's that?" And pointing to its mouth / maybe butthole. And I was like, I'm going to hope it's its mouth. But I just, now learning this about the Pokemon, I am horrified that Pokemon is in the game.
Yep. No, it pops out because its little hand thing that comes out of its mouth, that actually is its intestines, and it beats you up with it. Like turns into a fist and starts punching at you. And that's the entire like shtick of that. And I loved it. Like I couldn't believe that the Pokemon Company actually went there when they released it. I wish it was a little bit stronger, but then again, it is a sea cucumber. But yeah, sea cucumbers, they're awesome. We have a Pokemon version. and it could be expelling stuff out of its butt. I mean, who knows?
This was a Sun and a Alolan Pokemon, or one before that?
Yeah, this was the Sun and Moon one. Its big contribution to the story was, in order to raise money, you walked the beach and you picked up Fukomukos and you threw them back into the ocean because they would wash up and they didn't get out. And so it's like, oh, you need quick $50 here, kid. Go and throw Fukomukos back into the sea because we don't want these things polluting our oceans.
Naturally.
That's incredible.
Wow, miserable. All terrible.
Oh, man. All right. Well, with that being said, I am going to very quickly pull something up because I had it up and then it disappeared on me. We read reviews on this show all the time because we love you guys, the listeners. And if we read your 5-star iTunes review on the air and you email us at editor@comicbook.com, we will send you a free t-shirt. It's a Comicbook.com t-shirt. We're working on getting Wild Podcast Has Appeared t-shirts. And yeah, so I'm going to read, I think I'm just going to read one today. Maybe I'll read two. There's actually some good ones. This first one is from Shifty A7X. I'm 35 and brand new to Pokemon. I know, very late to the game, but I just started watching the show and collecting cards. I've been trying to learn as much as I can about the Pokeverse, and so I listened to several different podcasts, and I narrowed it down to this one to subscribe to. I like how they cover everything from the games, to the show, to the merch, and to the events. Great show, guys and gals. Justin. Justin, thank you so much. Love that one. The next one is from Chef Kenneth. Was sorting through a few Pokemon podcasts and luckily found this gem. As an avid fan that enjoys the sweet tickle of nostalgia, this has really hit the spot, informative in all the right ways, silly in the nerdiest of poke jokes, and practical in convincing you to spend your hard-earned money on anything poker-related. These guys have made this podcast fun and relatable, looking forward to more. P.S. I would buy a few of those life-size Mareep plushes and make a super sacrilegious Pokemon-centric Christmas stable.
I don't think that would be sacrilegious.
I don't feel like it is at all.
It's an A+.
Yeah.
A+, truly.
Yeah, Mareep might have been at the birth of Jesus Christ.
Honestly, we don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
It was 1,000 years ago. I mean, maybe they were trying to shock the angel.
I mean, who knows?
If you want your review read on the air, like I said, all you got to do is go onto iTunes, give us a 5-star review, and type up some words, and we will read them live on the air. Well, recorded, whatever. Otherwise, you can catch all of our great Pokemon coverage at Comicbook.com. Megan does a bunch of it. Christian does a ton of it, and so does some other folks on our team. All the Pokemon news you can handle and more. So thank you guys for listening. As always, we're back every Thursday. You can find me on Twitter at Jim Viscardi.
You can find me on Twitter at Megan Peters CB.
And I am C. Hoffer, C. Bus.
Thanks again, guys, and we will catch you next time.